In a fiery congressional showdown, Representative Jason Crow dismantles Pete Hegseth's shifting narratives, exposing a powerful double standard in a tense and unforgettable hearing that stunned lawmakers and viewers nationwide.
And I recognize the gentleman from Colorado, Mr. Crow.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman Kane, Secretary Hegseth, and Mrs. McDonald. You're doing a great job today, Mrs. McDonald. Secretary Hegseth, we have a lot of things in common. In fact, our careers started the same way. We were both infantry officers. We were both platoon leaders. We both deployed our platoons to combat in a counterinsurgency environment. There are very few better leadership training grounds than that experience, and it's that experience that I want to transport us back into time, back to Lieutenant Hegseth and Lieutenant Crow. There are a lot of things that make a leader and that make a unit effective. Would you say that unit cohesion is important?
Unit cohesion, amongst many, is very important, yes, sir.
It's an important element. And part of that is making sure that all members of your unit felt included in that team, correct?
Far more important that every member of that unit felt capable to do the mission and united in that mission.
But that they were included and felt part of the team as well.
I wouldn't use the word inclusion, sir, but yes, they were cohering as a team, yes.
And that you reduce tension and infighting and points of tension between your platoon members so that you can focus on the mission. That was a part of the regular job.
Correct. And so unity amongst members, despite differences of backgrounds, race, whatever that is.
And I agree with you on that.
Together on a mission.
And words, part of that is words are important and setting the tone is important, correct? When you're a leader.
All aspects of leadership, mostly leading by example.
Did you ever tell them your political affiliation? Did you ever tell your platoon members your political affiliation?
We certainly discussed lots of topics, and I'm sure my political affiliation.
Did you ever ask them theirs?
No, their political affiliation was never a concern to me.
Because it's important that everybody feel included and that people weren't excluded, correct? That would be antithetical to leadership.
I'm sure my platoon contained Republicans, Democrats, and independents, and I had no idea what their affiliation was.
Okay, that was actually my next question, so I appreciate you answering that. You led your unit in a counterinsurgency environment, and you interacted with civilians, correct?
Interacted with members of the civilian population, sure.
Yep. And you were, in fact, a COIN instructor, a counterinsurgency instructor, correct?
In Afghanistan in 2011 and 2012, I was the senior counterinsurgency instructor.
And you signed off on a manual. There's actually a counterinsurgency manual that you signed off on and helped create. And your name is on that manual, correct?
We were a part of creating a lot of content at the COIN Academy, yes.
Do you remember this portion of the manual? It says, if you've killed two innocents, you've set yourself back more than you've moved forward. Do you still agree with that?
I would have to take a look at the manual, but obviously no one in warfare is seeking to kill innocents.
Okay. Because it's important to show why we're different from the enemy. Because we're not the enemy, right? We're different from our adversary. Would you agree with that? We have different morals and different values.
We are not the enemy, sir.
We have different morals and we have different values than the enemy.
We have a code, a uniform code of military justice.
So the answer to that is yes.
Our formations that
you're not trying to compare us to Al-Qaeda and ISIS, are you? We're different.
I know the code of the United States military and army that I signed up for.
You can't tell me whether we're different?
Right hand.
You're not willing to say we're different?
Of course we're different.
Okay, thank you.
It's absurd.
That's why I'm trying to reconcile the fact that we learned many of the same lessons as platoon leaders about unit cohesion, making sure that people were included, that we didn't ask people's political affiliation, that we interacted respectfully with civilian populations, that what a leader says matters, that the tone you set matters, that we are not the enemy, that we are different from them, we lead differently, we have different morals. How can I reconcile that experience and those lessons learned from Lieutenant Hegseth to now Secretary Hegseth, where you say things like what you just saw here, making us equivalent on the same standards as our adversaries, doing the same things that ISIS and Al-Qaeda would do? How can you possibly reconcile that? I can't. And just the other day down at Fort Bragg in our beloved 82nd Airborne Division, sitting there Well, we politicize the military and pull our paratroopers into politics, booing elected officials, booing politicians with whom you disagree. It's antithetical to our values, and you, sir,
Gentlemen,
have changed.
time's expired. Chair now recognizes the gentleman.
In one of the most intense congressional moments of the season, Representative Jason Crow delivered a blistering takedown of Pete Hegseth during a highly publicized oversight hearing, exposing what he called a blatant double standard that cut to the core of Hegseth's credibility. This exchange didn't just get heated, it became a masterclass in how to dismantle selective outrage, contradictory testimony, and politically motivated narratives. Viewers across the political spectrum immediately recognized that something seismic had just happened in that hearing room. The clash began when Hegseth, appearing as a witness to provide commentary on military readiness and leadership, launched into a sweeping condemnation of certain Pentagon policies. But Representative Crow, a former Army Ranger with multiple combat deployments, was in no mood to let political theatrics pass as serious testimony. From the moment he got the microphone, Crow made it clear he wasn't there to participate in partisan storytelling. He was there to expose it. He started by referencing Hegseth's long history of cable news commentary, pointing out how often his criticisms seemed suspiciously aligned with whichever political figure or administration he was trying to defend or attack. Crow emphasized that Hegseth's commentary flips depending on the moment, praising military leaders when they support his preferred narrative, attacking them when they don't. Crow called this pattern not analysis, not expertise, but convenience dressed up as conviction. Immediately, the room went silent. Hegseth attempted to brush off the accusation, claiming he was simply telling the truth as he sees it. But Crow wasn't buying it. With receipts in hand, he cited specific quotes moments when Hegseth applauded executive overreach under one administration, then harshly condemned similar actions under another. Crow pointed out that the military doesn't need partisan punditry to shape policy. It needs consistent leadership grounded in facts, expertise, and accountability. The exchange escalated quickly when Crow brought up what he called the heart of the hypocrisy. He reminded the committee that Hegseth had repeatedly attacked military leaders for speaking publicly about political pressures. Yet Hegseth himself frequently used his media platform to advance partisan narratives involving the military. Crow asked pointedly, "How can you condemn others for politicizing the military while doing the exact same thing every night on television?" The hearing room erupted as Hegseth struggled to answer the question directly. Hegseth attempted to pivot, insisting he had always spoken in defense of service members. But Crow countered that defending the troops requires honesty, not selective outrage. Crow argued that Hegseth's commentary often exaggerated threats, downplayed misconduct, or inflated narratives that fit partisan goals, not national security. Then Crow delivered the line that instantly went viral. "What you're offering here today isn't guidance, it's grievance. And the military deserves better than grievance masquerading as expertise." Every camera in the room captured the moment. It was a clean, decisive blow. Crow then moved into the broader implications. If pundits can inject political bias into military issues without consequence, he warned, the consequences will be disastrous. Service members rely on stable, trusted leadership. They cannot be at the mercy of whichever talking head is trying to score points. For the nightly news cycle, Crow emphasized that the morale and readiness of the armed forces are too important to become collateral damage in media-driven culture wars. As Hegseth tried again to defend his record, Crow pressed forward, highlighting specific instances where Hegseth had criticized military figures for decisions he later defended when made by different political allies. Crow used these contradictions to build a larger point. This is why the American people are losing faith in the commentary class. You say one thing one year and the opposite the next, not because the facts change, but because your politics do. By this point, the committee members knew they were witnessing a rare moment of total collapse in a witness's narrative. Crow ended his time with a final reminder. The military is not a prop for commentators, a pawn in political games, or a platform for inflaming division. It is an institution that demands seriousness, integrity, and consistency. And if Hegseth wants to speak on issues of national security, Crow argued, he owes the country a standard higher than the double talk on display. The room fell into stunned silence as Crow's time expired. It was clear that Hegseth's arguments had not just been challenged, they had been dismantled.